Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show that never ends here on the Orloff Inspirational Network. It's a sunny and warmer Saturday morning. No, is it still morning? I don't know. Let's see. The clock just struck 9, but the clock is not set correctly. Oh, it's almost noon, but it's still morning. We still have another 12 minutes of morning here on a beautiful Pearl Harbor day. Almost exactly to the very minute. Right now, it was, you know, 11 o'clock hour here, but a few minutes before 8, December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed by the Empire of Japan. Remember that? Remember those days? Um, and today is in 1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Rankin Bass special, ran on television for the very first time. Hey, gang, a lot of you are my age, according to the YouTube statistics. I was looking at them this morning. I was telling my wife, I have never seen such a high viewership of women on this channel. 10 point something percent of the audience is women. That is very strange and bizarre. Usually it's like 1 point something percent. It's like two people because, like my wife doesn't even watch usually. Um, I know there's this couple in England, Whippet Lass. She used to leave comments. I don't know if she still watches, hopefully. And yeah, I'm stumped. But now there's more women watching. That's fantastic. And we had the whole demographic group of people in their 20s stopped watching, it looked like. Or maybe, no, yeah, it was 25 to 35. They stopped watching. That's all right. This is not a cool, hip show. Um, You guys can watch Logan Paul and what's the guy named King Beast? Is that what's his name? Mr. Beast Man? That's what you guys like, right? Well, those of you that are my age, back to what I'm talking about, remember watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when it was broadcast Christmas of 1976, the 76-77 school year. Um, they got in a little trouble. Do you remember Gary Gilmore? Gary Gilmore was a guy that had been in trouble all his life, right? And he went into a gas station and robbed it, as I recall, and and made the guy lay down. And after he got his money and shot him in the back of the head, then he went into a motel and did the same thing to the motel keeper. Anyway, so he was in Utah, and um, he went to trial. And now the death penalty had been abolished. Just a minute, I got to feed the dog. The death penalty had been abolished in the United States in 1972. So charming people like Charles Manson, that's why they spent the rest of their life in prison and everything. They commuted all the death sentences in the country because Supreme Court said no, that's cruel and unusual. Let's Drew's gonna have some salmon. So anyway, but they the Utah said no, we're going to give them the death penalty. So I went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled somehow, as I recall, that death penalty is okay. We can go ahead and do the death penalty again, especially for creeps like Gary Gilmore. But the ACLU didn't want that to happen, as I recall, and so it was a big fight. Gary Gilmore, the guy the murderer, wanted to be executed. It was his wish. He said, "You guys gave me that. That's what I want." So anyway, um, so he was fighting the court to execute him. And in Utah, they had two types of execution. One was the firing squad, and one was hanging. And Gary Gilmore wanted to go in front of a firing squad. And it was like this guy was fighting. No, I want you guys to execute me. And then they were saying, no, we can't execute you. That would be cruel. He's like, no, do it. That's what I deserve. Anyway, that was a weird thing to be watching as a sixth grader for me. So anyway, it was a big deal in the news. Saturday Night Live was still a new show at that time. I think it was in its second season. Yeah, second season. They did a song, "Let's Kill Gary Gilmore for Christmas." That's back when Saturday Night Live still had a biting edge to it because it was born out of the National Lampoon. A lot of the actors for the National Lampoon Radio Hour and Michael O'Donoghue. I'm sure Michael O'Donoghue, a very evil, sardonic writer for the National Lampoon. He was great, also known as Mr. Mike. I'm sure, I have a feeling he wrote that song, "Let's Kill Gary Gilmore for Christmas." But anyway, they broke into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, being watched by, I don't know, millions of kids throughout the country, to announce that they were going to, in fact, kill Gary Gilmore. That was the big news break, news flash. And then they cut back to Santa Claus and the elves and everything. And there were some parents that were pretty upset. Couldn't you have waited till the 10 o'clock news? Why did you have to break into a kid's show? I have to explain that to my kid. The government's going to tie a guy down to it. They didn't do a firing squad like you see it in the movies where the guy stands there and they give him a last cigarette. He was tied to a chair and then they shot him. Then I think somebody got his eyes and some of the organs didn't get shot, I guess. Anyway, so that's a charming little Christmas story I have for you about Gary Gilmore. I think Norman Mailer wrote a book about him and they made him into a TV movie. I think it was called The Executioner's Song, something like that. That's how I remember it. But I've slept since then. Sorry. Feet. Gary Gilmore, yes. Christmas icon. Yeah. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I was talking about that in my I was supposed to go live this morning, but I was supposed to go live on Wednesday. I was going to do a big unopening of a box I was getting from Gotham City Comics, but it didn't show up. The 4th. It didn't show up the next day, and I was starting to get worried, man. The post office is moving real slow now. You say, well, it's near Christmas. Well, yeah, but they did the same thing back in the last, they're real efficient until it comes around election time. No, we have to. There's so much mail. So yes, the votes are going to take a long time to count because they just keep coming in because the mail's so slow. So they're still counting votes in some of these blue states to desperately try to hold on to it. And so they can say it really wasn't a landslide. It really wasn't. No, he really didn't have the popular vote. He just barely got in. No, that's what they're doing, man. Don't be fooled. So the mail will get back to normal here before too long. I think it's not the local post office; they're very efficient. It's just getting getting through the states that it has to go through to get to me. Some of which are pinko states. So I was going to go live this morning. I got the box. I did a can show. I was waiting for the box. I couldn't do a live show this morning because I I went about 5 o'clock in the morning to Casey's, this giant gas station that has food and they make delicious pizza and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of like a Buc-ee's, not as big as Buc-ee's, but anyway. I went to get some breakfast for my wife and myself, and one of the local guys said, "Oh, man, you drive that green car out there, it's got a flat tire. And so, oh shit. So I went when the tire place opened. They said come back at 10:30. We're working on a big semi, and so I really wasn't able to do a live stream. I had to get my car taken care of. And anyway, the tire. Um, what do you think? Tell me in the comments how much you think it cost. There was indeed a there was indeed a nail in this tire here. It was flat. What do you think it costs to fix that? Tell me in the chat, please, and then I'll tell you the answer. Imp says, Merry Kringle, Happy Christmas. Yes, thank you, Imp. I was just thinking about Imp this morning when I was driving into that gas station. I seriously was. Right before they told me I had a flat tire, I was thinking about, I wonder if Imp will appear today. Because whenever I say the name Imp, I feel like I'm Sean Connery. Imp, hello, Imp. Hello, Q. Hello, Imp. Hello, Imp. Imp sounds very Sean Connery. Listening to Christmas music, ladies and gentlemen. I almost have this entire live stream playlist off of YouTube copied now. Okay. 5 viewers, man. Depends. Do they plug the tire, patch it, or replace it? Well, they they said there was a tire. Shit, I didn't tell me. They just said we fixed. There was a nail in it. They fixed it. I don't know. Shit, man. Yes, could be these questions that men are supposed to know. I guess I was supposed to ask him. It's something he did before. This same guy did this for me before. The last time I had a flat tire, and is it the same tire? I don't know. But anyway, that's right. Imsh is a car guy, so I don't know. He did something to fix it. What do you think it cost? That's the question. I gotta get this dog food off my hands. So you guys do your gazintas, man. Figure out, do the math, and tell me what you think it costs. I've returned. This is Seaberg. This is from 1970, so it's recent. To me, 1970 is recent. Shit that happened in my lifetime. Well, I don't know. I guess 1970 isn't that recent. But Imp says, I'm guessing they plugged it, especially if it was done in less than 30 to 45 minutes. Cost, I'll say $75. It was 20. And I think that's what he charged me the last time I went there. I would have thought it would be, if it was back in Texas, then astronomical. So, of course, I don't know. I don't know if he remembers me from last time when I mentioned that I worked with his wife. Um, but that's what happens when you're in a small town and they're nice, honorable people, not scum like the people that live in your towns. All of you out there, no, I'm saying you probably have some few nice people that live in your town. There were probably a few nice people. Actually, there were a few nice people that lived where I used to live. Robert Presto says, greetings from Queens, New York. Man, that's where Spider-Man lives, man. Isn't that where Peter Parker lives? I've got a Peter Parker. I've got a Spider-Man comic on hold for me. I'm real excited about it. Gotham City Comics. I just got a big package from Gotham City Comics, so uh, even for a plug, just keep an eye on it, especially in cold temps. Yes, yeah, there are some cold temps around here, man. It got it. Although the real cold stuff was a few days ago, man, it was cold. But now it's warming up. It's going to be in the 50s today, which is it was snowing Monday morning, just not a whole lot. But the thing is, I don't have to go long distances. I don't have to travel on highways. The only highway I get on, the speed limit's 35 on it. It actually goes up to 45 right before I get to Casey's. I only drive about 45 seconds to get to work, so I'm not incredibly worried about it, but I really don't want to. It's just that they did the roof and nails are they did everybody's roofs around here because we had baseball size hail last April, so there's nails around. And Last Frontier Comics says, good day, Last Frontier Comics. How are you? You doing well? Yes. So feel free to come on, anybody. Last Frontier, if you've got any new comics to show. No, not new comics. You know what I mean. New old comics. You know what I mean. Last Frontier. Do you know about this artist, Steve Mannion? I shouldn't call you the name of your store, Scott. Do you know of an artist named Steve Mannion? I've become enamored with the art of this guy, and he's been around for decades. And I haven't known him, but he's great. Um, yes. Well, last episode I didn't give a shit. I was just listening to old radio broadcasts from the '60s in the background, and this French girl music from the '60s, and I just wound up with copyright claim, copyright claim. So I'm trying to edit that out now as best that you can. On a can show, you can mute it where you can still hear me talking, but the music is taken out. On a live stream like this, you really can't do that. It just wipes all the sounds. So if I'm talking, nothing will be coming out of my head. This music, I know it's not going to set up any copyright claim. This Christmas music. Yes, he's very good. Oh, okay. So you know about it. Do you have any of his books in stock? I've still got to get those two books from you in a wacky package. Well, I'm glad that wasn't a major expense today with the tire, man. Shit. Well, today my wife is not working, so she's asleep right now. When she wakes up, um, I don't know how much. This isn't going to be a very long stream today, more than likely. Um, yeah. Yeah, so how about that? Oh, I was in the middle of cleaning up. I'm going to go back to that. So why is Steve Mannion not more famous? Why do people not? Why is he not on the tip of every tongue? Why? What is wrong with the world? But then I could have said the same thing about Marie Severin. Why were people not flipping out over her? Uh, what is this? Man, I got this crap everywhere. Oh, it's a calendar. Anyone need an X-Men calendar from July 2008? Okay. So 2008, that was the what age of comics is that? The shit age of comics. There, I got this free at some comic store. Oh, the other side, it's got August 2008, man. See, I can't throw any of the stuff away that I get free at comic stores. It's part of the illness, man. What is this? Oh, save it until 2036. Yeah. Gotham City Com Gotham City Comics says, "Hello, I'm finishing up your last show. Glad you were surprised about the famous monsters." Oh yeah, I didn't know. I didn't suspect that. The hell is this? Oh, it's my life. Right, there's stuff everywhere. Paperwork and trying to file it. What is this, and why do I own it? It's some little plastic anime girl. What show is this from? Why? What is this? Is it some store display? I, sometimes you don't even know how something gets into your collection. Yeah, I was doing this in the last episode, cleaning up. Look at this vampire. Fantastic. There's a coloring contest. King Kong came out in 1933. I guess this was in newspapers. I need to frame this picture of Blofeld. Last Frontier says he is mostly an independent artist, which is probably why he's not known. His Popeye stuff is great. How do I get his Popeye stuff? Yeah. I heard him talking about his Popeye stuff in some podcast. What is this, man? Is this what I just showed? Yeah. Oh, I've got a bunch of those. What is this? Oh, God. It's some other promotional thing. How exciting, huh? Man, wow. John Romita Jr., what a great artist. These are probably like free things that came in Wizard or something. I don't know what this is. It's a sketchbook from the stand. This is cool, though. This is a book cover from the 60s with Big Boy. I know in California it was called Bob's Big Boy, but in Texas it was called Kip's Big Boy. This is some little fake letter that came in a H.P. Lovecraft CD, I think. I think so. It's the last will and testament of this guy. Yeah, there was these people that made old times sound. They sounded like old time radio shows, and oh, oh we um John Gurris says, "Can you send me a scan or some kind of pic of that King Kong coloring page? I'll do one up and send you one. Something to do." Oh yeah, I've got all kind. Yeah, I could do that. I've got I've got other. There were some other ones too. It was from some coloring contest from the 1933. This is my this is a receipt from Tab Books from 1977, September 21st, 1977. For Tab Books, they were like scholastic books. Mrs. Roscoe was my teacher. I remember that. That was seventh grade. Man, yeah. Years later, I had her husband as a college professor. Um, how about that? Oh, Meyer says, "Hello and Merry Christmas." I'll send an email reminding. Marie Severin did the art for all 8 issues of Fraggle Rock. Do you have those? No. Um, I I love Marie Severin's art. I didn't know she did Fraggle Rock. This is a credit card offer from a long time ago. I was laughing when you said I'll send you an email because usually it's my wife has to tell me you got an email from John Gores because I never look at my email. Probably a text is something that would come to my attention more easily. To be honest with you, but I'll yeah, I'll send that to you. Let me I got to send all those discs to you. I'm getting a new spindle of DVD-Rs on Monday, supposedly. So Then I'll be able to do that. I don't know what this is. Remove before flight. Did you tell me what this is, ladies and gentlemen? Um, Shit. Meyer, we were going to do an unboxing, but I never did it because I never got the package until this morning. If you want, did you get your package, Meyer? If you want to come on, you may be busy. There's a horror host, Gulita. That's a letter from my brother in Germany, who was stationed in Germany from August 21st, 1978. He uh, he went in, he graduated from college and went in. Says, I'm presently watching Happy Days on the tube. It just started here. I bet that gives Ken a thrill. Ken, that's my name. Because I was into Happy Days there, especially those first two seasons. I thought that was right. Today was the first nice day this year. It hit 82 degrees without a cloud in the sky. Beautiful. I barbecued yesterday and today, which his wife, I'm not going to say the name because it's his first wife, liked so she wouldn't have to cook. We drove to Rhine, Maine to shop, and did we save? The commissary is 10 to 15% cheaper than ours. I wonder why. Well, in any case, ran into several officers from Aberg shopping to save money too. Anyway, how about that? It's a Shonen Knife newsletter. Oh, see, it's not arrived yet. I just got back from running morning errands. Yeah, see, the same thing happened to him. Uh, he didn't get. We both thought we were going to get it Wednesday night. Um, you're probably going to get it today. Here's a here's a picture of me as a little kid with my mom. This is from the passport. I blew this up from the passport I found. My wife will want to see that. I'll put that over there. Bryan Singer's X-Men 2 press conference. I printed this from the internet August 21st, 2002. X-Men 2 I thought was really great. That I really liked that. Those first two X-Men movies were really good. Uh, what are these? Oh, that's not good. Um, Bronco Bear says, "Hey, Grow Two, hello there. Sorry, I'm ignoring the crowd, the audience crowd, the 14 people watching. I'm trying to get stuff done, man. I really am." Wish I had a better scan of this spook show flyer ad rather. There's a faint check from Asylum of Horrors. If you faint, you get what do you get? Kindly fill out this card and keep on your person in case you faint when you see Frankenstein on stage in person. What did you guys think of Creature Commandos? What is everybody's opinion on that? You've all seen that now. There's a policeman at the LA police station in the 20s. Yes, I already have multiple copies of this, John Doris. Just have to make sure it doesn't get misplaced, which I won't allow that to. What checks? Here's a check made out to Handy Andy. That was a grocery store in San Antonio. This is from July 18th, 1974. $60. You know what? $60 is probably $300, $400 worth of groceries in today's money. Here's one. Oh man, here's one for $130, man. What were my parents buying? June 29th, 1974. I save even parents sold checks, you know. What? I mean, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. You guys got your families. I don't. I just have my wife and her family. Um, I got my memories and little pieces of paper and stuff. Here's a drawing I did. You like these kind of drawings? What do you guys think? I can you can commission me to do some pen and ink drawings for you. was February 2014. These are ridiculous to save, but someday this will be interesting. I guess. Um, I don't throw away these old previews. It's got an Alex Ross cover. Oh boy. Oh wow. This is an ad for a store called Toys from the Crypt. Now this, I forgot about this. We also offer complete doll repair. Call the Doll Doctor. Yeah, Toys from the Crypt opened up, and as I recall, on the Hypnotic Eye TV show, Joe Riley went into Toys from the Crypt and filmed the interior of the store in one of the episodes of the Hypnotic Eye. It wasn't one of the episodes of the Hypnotic Eye I worked on, though. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I just remember going into Toys from the Crypt with Joe Riley, and um, I think he did work for them. I think he did some advertising art for them, as I recall. These are very distant memories, you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking the middle of the 1990s, which in some ways doesn't seem that long ago. In some ways, it seems very long ago and far away. There's something I did in high school art class. That I guess over there. Oh, I this is a letter from Barbara Lay. Although I don't know, maybe it's Barbara Lee. Do you, I just assume it's as I assume like Vivian. Well, I don't know, man. I always pronounced it Barbara Lay. She was on the cover of Vampirella several times. This is a letter from June 18th, 1996. Dear Kenneth, thank you for your interest in my fan club. I put the fan club on hold as I am writing my bio. Enclosed, please find a picture price list for mail order and a couple of signed postcards that I hope you will enjoy. Wonder where the signed postcards are. They're somewhere around here. I will update you on the book when it's available. Thank you for thinking of me. Take care and God bless. So I guess that's an autograph there, Barbara Lay. Not that it's um, she's selling pictures of the Vampirella covers that she was on. Yeah. But, what is this shit? It says Department of the Army on it. Some checks from 1962. This check from 1959. Internal Revenue Service. It says $1.80. Oh, this is Army Medical Service School, Brooke Army Medical Center, Fort Sam Houston. There's an ad I designed for a band, the Cheater Slicks, playing in Houston back in the 90s when I was at May 9th, 1992. Of course, that's taken from one of the ugly stickers. Remember when comic stores would print backing boards with ads for them? Does anybody collect these? I think this would be an interesting thing to collect, backing boards with ads printed. This one is in this one was in Fort Worth, Texas, Grand Slam. Obviously, they also sold, just like every store back in the 90s, they also sold baseball cards. That was a weird mixture of sports cards with comic book people. Because, I don't know, not to, I don't really think of comic book people as being sports people usually, although I'm constantly surprised, and at least I guess I'm just thinking about myself. There's certain stereotypes, about comic book people that they're not really into sports. I don't know. Maybe it's not accurate. Ticket stub for Deadpool 2. Oh, a comment. I just don't know how anyone's got the time for comic, movie, music stuff, and sports ball. Good God, they got 48 hours in a day. Yeah, well, people do it. You know, people are into both. I I've always kind of somewhat admired it. I just never really understood sports. Um, Perhaps if my father had gotten, I don't know. No one ever really taught me about sports. It never really seemed to matter to me. Not as much as monster movies. I got some cleaned up there. What's weird, I was talking about how odd it is to have women watching this channel. Um, I see there used to be a channel, man, what was it called? It was called Comic Trips. It's probably still on. You could probably still watch the old episodes. And this couple traveled across the country and went to all the comic stores. They got in this van with some other guy that was driving, and they went to every store in each state that they could. And they took the cameras in and showed the store, and then they put a sticker on the front glass of the store that said Comic Trips. And they seemed like a very nice couple, young couple, maybe in their mid to late 20s, attractive couple, very heavily tattooed, just kind of cool. I don't know. They were a whole different generation than me. Anyway, they were married. But then the channel just disappeared. They got divorced, and it's like, wait a second, they seem so happy. But whenever they'd go into a comic store, the woman was like, "Oh, look, there's this. We need to get this. We need to get that." And it was like, I never really seen that before. Um, Comic collecting comics is a very male thing. It's yeah, there's women that like comics. Usually, it's Elf Quest or like independent stuff. There's not many. And but these you see these there's another what is the other show? There's another show that's currently on YouTube called The Comics Den. And there's a couple on that, and they go into stores, and she's like, "Oh, look, we need to get this. We need to get this. We definitely need to get that." And it's like, I don't. Okay, that's unusual. To see the wife that excited about the hobby. But maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it's just I have a very much a lack of experience with that. But I just all the comic conventions I've ever gone to have been kind of disgusting, smelly people, very clearly not married, or um, the women that you see usually look like they they're like Star Trek Dark Shadows kind of. No, I don't know. I just won't even talk about that. But um, but to see these guys with these wives that are attractive and they're all excited about comics, you just think, well, this is a woman that's really into that guy and is really playing up. Like if he was into football, she'd be really excited about football. She just wants to be supportive of her guy because she's found someone that's a prize to latch onto. Maybe I don't know. Is there maybe am I completely wrong, or is there are a lot of women out there that just really think? Because I don't think it's just one of those things. There are more women that watch the Three Stooges than there are that like comic books. I think. I mean, there's women that like these Marvel movies, or did before they got shitty. But I think that's because they're into Chris Evans or whatever his name was that played Thor, Hemsworth. Was he Chris too? Everyone think Chris. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, that comics den. That's just, he's got this red-haired wife that's always all excited about the comics. She knows the comics. Oh, this is a key issue because they're young. They're into key issues. They think that's important. And Yeah, I don't know. The guy on that Comics Den channel, he looks like a Roman emperor. He looks like a Caesar. He's got this very Roman nose, and he's got like a Roman haircut. Uh, I I've never seen anyone so much that looked like. So if you just put a toga on this guy on the Comics Den channel, he would just look like he's ready to thumbs down. Just put a little uh, leaves around his head, olive leaves, whatever the hell those things are. Yeah, I'll watch that channel. It's yeah, they're okay. I'm trying to remember what comic channels that come to my attention that that pop up. Uh, I don't know, man. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm just off on this rant that I probably shouldn't be on about that. I just don't think many women collect comics, and it's not that it's that controversial. I mean, it's just obviously true. But you see it on YouTube, and you think, "Gosh," uh, but I think it's not really true. Okay, what are these humans saying here? Last Frontier says baseball cards and comics always went together with me since I was a kid. I was a jock in high school, and my friends were nerds. Yeah, um, that seems to be the case with some people I met on YouTube. That comic books and baseball cards traditionally do go together um, because those were kid things. In the 40s and 50s, those I don't know when did comics become so uncool? Because they were uncool in the 70s. Well, were they? I don't know. I remember there were kids that bought comics when I was in elementary school. At some point, it's almost like comics became uncool. I think almost when comics stores came in, when they went to direct distribution, when comics were only sold in stores, it seems like they became stigmatized. They were no longer something that everybody read. There was a spinner rack at the 7-Eleven. Every kid looked at it and bought comics, just like every kid chewed gum. Girls would buy the girl comics. Um, they'd buy Archie's or Richie Rich or romance comics. Guy, there were comics for everybody. And then once the comics went into the comic stores, there were only comics for guys. There were no romance. I don't remember any romance comics after 1970. To me, 77 was that was when I went into the first comic book store I ever went into. When Lone Star Comics opened, I was in there the first week it was open. Within 7 days of its opening, I saw an article in the newspaper about it. And so that's what is now mycomicshop.com. I was one of the first customers of the brick and mortar store when it opened at age 12. Same summer Star Wars came out. Uh, yeah, it just seems like that's when it became maybe that's when it became uncool. And then it just became something that you couldn't just go into 7-Eleven and pick up a comic and understand it. The X-Men became ridiculously confusing with 40 million different X-Men titles, and it was just and the artwork was shitty, and it just became really horrible. And then the direct distributed comics were there's just something about them that felt wrong. It's like you'd read them, it's like, man, this doesn't feel like a comic book. The paper's too white. The content seems a little too like doesn't seem like it's quite right. It seems like they're putting this edgy soap opera adult stuff into it that maybe you don't feel quite right about. It's like as a kid, when you're reading something that it's not aimed at you. You feel a little like, man, am I? Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know. I it just seems maybe that's when it happened because now a comic store is a male-dominated place. Women don't really want to go in there. Not many, unless they're looking for Funko Pops or something. Um, but comics traditionally were a popular thing with kids. I just at some point became a really horrible and stupid thing to collect. Um, Myers says you're onto something. Less frontier. My ex-wife didn't mind the cards but hated the comics. That's why she became my ex. Well, John Goris, what about the whole VHS nostalgia thing demanding high prices? Yeah. I was tempted on Etsy by a Metal Storm VHS from back in the day. It was $40, probably a few dollars less than it was originally. Yeah, a lot of those VHS tapes that were the early 80s were like $100 to buy. They didn't want people to own them. They wanted people to rent them. They didn't want you to have ownership of movies. They wanted you to watch them and check them out from the video store. They wanted the video store to purchase them and then rent them enough that they make their money back. And then at a certain point, they brought with DVDs and Blu-rays, it became you could own the movies. You could really afford that. Laserdisc was not affordable either. But then, yeah, now they don't want you to own the movies. It's just like in those early days. They want you to stream them. They don't want you to own them. And streaming them is falling into that new world order, World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and be happy. You will just rent and stream, and then when you don't own anything, it's very easy for them to change things and change history and alter things and make it however they want. Canada has gotten rid of in libraries. Maybe it's just libraries and schools. They don't have. I think they're getting rid of any books that are less than 10 or 15 years old. I can't remember if it's 10 or 15. They don't want any old books. They want only books that are today, made today, reflecting the world of today. And in other words, they don't want books that expose you to the ideas of the past. They want to be able to create the reality that kids are exposed to, and this is something they do here in the United States. The librarians will weed books every summer. They'll take out books that have incorrect information or outdated ideas or that just aren't being checked out very often. Well, maybe there's some book that hasn't been checked out in 10 years, but then one kid will come along and discover it and it'll change their lives. But we got to get rid of it. It hasn't been checked out in a while. Well, they do that, yeah. But Canada's taken it to the next level where they just don't allow any books, any old books. When I was a kid, I loved to go in the library and look at these books from the 50s that showed what will it be like when man lands on the moon someday? And of course, we'd already been to the moon, and it didn't look like those cool spaceships they showed, but I love looking at that. But they just want to take away all the, it's just all part of you know what they're doing. But luckily, things may change. Um, but yeah, VHS has become popular with these collectors. What I remember are the really extreme covers for Blood Feast, for 2000 Maniacs, for the gore films of the early 60s that I had read about in the Monster Times that famous monsters of filmland never mentioned, but I knew these movies existed from Herschel Gordon Lewis. And then when they appeared, in the video stores with these garish covers, and there was the Gore Gore Girls too, and that one had an extreme cover with eyeballs being taken out and stuff. And I remember the garish covers from the horror section in the video stores, and those, if you got a bunch of them together, I guess it would be kind of like having a bunch of the really cool 8 millimeter and Super 8 film reels with the really cool box art. That that's how you would own a movie. Before VHS, you just got to own about, 8 to 10 minutes of the movie, a lot of times without sound, and they'd sell those in the back of Famous Monsters. Libraries will just burn books soon enough. Yeah, the librarians, when they weed books out, are told that you have to get rid of it. It has to go in the dumpster. So some librarians would say, "Here," they'd sneak them out to teachers. It's like, "Here, take the books. They're wanting me to destroy them or put them in the dumpster. You take it." And that's what they had to do. It's almost like Fahrenheit 451, where people had to memorize the books. Each person, their job would be to be one book. I'm sorry if I'm ruining the end. Yeah, yeah. The Fahrenheit 451, the first printing was printed with an asbestos book jacket. My friend had a copy of that. Yeah, I thought, well, that's cool. It's historically interesting to have a first printing of Fahrenheit 451, but do you really want to have an asbestos book jacket in your collection that you're handling? But uh, but the answer was yes, he did. I wouldn't have it, but I'd probably been exposed to so much asbestos over the years in old buildings. John Gore's Zombie had a great cover. Yes, that's one of the great ones. That would be one of the ones. Uh, I remember the cover for Color Me Blood Red, yes, with the bikini girl being disemboweled, freaking out as a child. Well, yeah, as a child, I was in I was in college during the yeah yeah I was in I guess I'm a few years older than John. Um, yeah, it was something. As my friends and I were movie buffs. And when the VHS boom happened, it was so exciting to be able to get to see these movies. I remember we had a party to watch Blood Feast, and it's such a funny movie, but it's also just appalling to think that movie came out in '62 and 2000 Maniacs was '63, or was it '64? It's just. And then later, about a year later, Herschel Gordon Lewis was appearing at the college we were going to, the university, and he was appearing talking about direct marketing, direct mail. He was direct mail. He was no longer making movies. He was basically sending junk mail to people and talking about. And we um, got a hold of him, and we were going to make a movie with him, where my friend was, and I was helping co-write the script, and that never panned out, but that was something. I got a picture somewhere myself with Herschel Gordon Lewis. Um, but that's the appeal of the VHS days. I guess, it's just a nostalgic thing. Some people play the old cassettes and everything. There's something set. Oh man, I was startled by Darth Vader over there. I moved the Jesus clock used to be over here, but I moved it over there. Now the voice is coming from over there. I don't know what that was. I've been trying to get organized here for Christmas, and I uh, I was sent two eyeballs, plastic eyeballs, by Kevin at Gotham City Comics, and I put them in my Donald Trump mask. What if junk mail becomes the new hot commodity? What do you mean, as far as people collect junk mail? Um, I have some junk mail that I have collected that is fun. I collected all the political ads that were sent. There were tons of political ads sent, little cards sent here because of when we voted and everything in the primaries. So I got tons of Donald Trump, pro Donald Trump and anti Donald Trump cards that I'm going to save that are fun and funny. And then there's I've got a bunch of stuff sent from the Robert Tilton ministry back in the '90s, the late '80s maybe. That's funny. Um, what else? Um, yeah, this person that we knew that used to. There's weird things to collect. This lady collected signs. People on the street. It's been years since I've seen anyone with one of these because I don't live in a city anymore. But people would always be on the corner with "We'll work for food" or "Please help, God bless," and it would be crudely written on a piece of cardboard. And this lady would give them $5 or $10 for their sign, and she would collect signs and put them around her fireplace or mantle. All these signs written by bums: "We'll work for food, God bless." But she was real liberal. I'm sure she voted for Kamala Harris, but she's collecting those signs. Um, some people collect anything. Um, I mean, I've got school book covers over there. Those are, to me, interesting. But I don't know. There'll probably be a weird market from the Harris Walls campaign. Yeah, yeah, that may be funny someday. Um, like, I don't know. Some people collect. I guess some people collect political memorabilia from failed political campaigns. Um, Remember, George Wallace was shot, right? And he was in a wheelchair, but his campaign ads said "Stand up for Wallace," right? And then he was in a wheelchair. So then the little bumper stickers became ironic, I guess. Well, I got this Barbie head that I had the Donald Trump mask on this, but you'll just have to watch my canned show from earlier to see how Donald Trump is now has eyeballs. Um, Myra, I'm going to check the mail. Yes, please do. Because I'm dying out here, man. I don't know what to talk about. Nobody's. I gotta get a trash bag. Is what I gotta get, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be right back. 'Cause I gotta clean up. Myers says it's hell waiting for a package. Did you see my video earlier? I went, kept going out checking on the package uh, like 10 times, and finally it was there. Um, John Goris, I wanted to do some H.G. Lewis kind of animated gore effects with some Barbies. Haven't yet, but on my dance card. Well, that'll be a new low for you. That'll be good. Yeah. Do you want to see Creature Commandos? Watch that. Um, I was watching it Thursday, and then um, my wife was working and had a break and came into the room. I had to quickly turn it off because, of course, it was right when the the princess of this Eastern European country they go to is trying to come on to the hero, and it's like it's like she comes in and I'm watching some cartoon with just it's like I didn't want that to be her introduction to the cartoon. But anyway, so I last night in the middle of the night, maybe about 3 in the morning, I said, well, let's. I watched both episodes that are up with my wife, and she was not into the first one. And the second one, she said, well, this at the beginning, she says, well, this one's better than the first one. And then she wound up. I don't think it was really what she wanted to watch. She thought a lot of the humor didn't work for her, and there's a band that's featured, some Ukrainian gypsy rock band that's not really very funny, but I guess some people think they're funny. They think they're funny. Is used in the soundtrack a lot. And uh, she used to like the band. She said they were good years ago, like 14 years ago. But so I don't know, some band called Go Go Bordello or something like that. I I I liked it. It's the same, basically the same humor that you would get in Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad movie he did. Uh, it's oh well, it's good. I overall I like James Gunn. I like him, even though I probably should know better, but I do. Um, Myers says nothing. Was supposed to be there Wednesday, right? Did I do a show Tuesday? When did I do that show, man? And then no, I did a show Wednesday. I don't know when I did the show, but I remember we both thought that we were going to get the package the next day, and of course we didn't. I don't know, man. Who cares? Oh, oh, sort of. I feel like my brain is melting. I have had so little sleep. Um, I guess I should put the link to come on. So, who's going to unsubscribe today? Because every time I do a live stream, I lose 2 subscribers. Will it be you? Or perhaps you? Or perhaps you over there? You filthy bastard. Those little kid shows. They say, I see you, Billy. I see you, Joe. And then, somewhere out there in the whole city of Chicago, someone named Billy or Joey is going to be watching, and they're going to really think the people on TV are looking at them and see them, and it's going to make their day. Meyer says the universe waits for no one, but I'm always waiting on the universe. Yeah. 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 How many more damn records do I have to go? I'm trying to record every Seberg Christmas record that's on YouTube, and I only have about two left. This is the music that played in department stores, grocery stores, whatever, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This one is 1970, so it's not as good, but it's still good. But it's 1970. That's not as good as 1950 or 1960. It just because of what is the law of entropy? Things aren't as good as time goes by. I can't see a damn thing. Oh, I only have one left after. Oh, but it's 3 hours. Oof, that's rough. No shit. This is about right. I'm starting to. There's caffeine in this. Perhaps that will stimulate me to new creative heights. Right now, I'm kind of crashing here. What is that black thing with the red bits on the L side of the screen, left side of the screen? Huh, some kind of modern sculpture. No, that's a vacuum cleaner. I was attempting to vacuum. Uh huh. No, you don't want to see back there. Trust me. Yeah. Uh, Does everyone? There's 14 people watching. Have you all subscribed to John Goris? Have you guys seen his new video, Batman fighting skeletons? If you haven't seen that video, if you haven't subscribed to him, and you're one of the 13. Well, we lost somebody. What do you imagine that person looks like that just stopped watching? They can't possibly be fatter than I am, but they could be. Let's make fun of the person that just stopped watching. Why would anyone tune out with such fascinating entertainment? Oh man, just found some more tape. How about that? Well, this live stream was originally scheduled for Wednesday night, I think, and I delayed it till today. But I already had a live stream scheduled for today, so I had to bump that one back. And I figured I'd just do two live streams on Saturday. Then my wife was told we don't have a shift today, so she's asleep. But I may have to bump tonight's live stream back to tomorrow and have two tomorrow. Thanks for the plug. Need all I don't know. I have no idea why it is that you don't have more subscribers because it's seriously one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. That and Dogville comedies. Have you guys seen Dogville comedies? They're on Internet Archive. You should stop watching right now and go to Internet Archive and watch Jules White's Dogville comedies from the 40s. Um, Same guy, Jules White, that directed a lot of the Three Stooges comedies, made these comedies with real dogs that talk and walk on two legs. It's beyond all words hilarious. Now, whether the dogs had fun making the movies, I don't know. I kind of doubt they did because I'm sure they're being hung by wires like marionette puppets. But I mean, it didn't. That which does not kill you only serves to make the comedies funnier. I don't know. Hopefully the dogs weren't harmed or horrible, but they're sure funny, man. See, like a dog, Mae West, it's um, and Scopatones are up on Internet Archive. Oh, maybe I need something to eat. You think? Oh, someone's trying to come in. That's good. That'll help the show. Oh, it's Meyer Greenblatt. I see a tree. Look at that,
Hey,
man.
what's going on?
It ain't
Hello.
not too much. Well, so how's the place coming?
Pretty good. Got a lot of stuff done last couple days. I need those bookshelves. Um,
Those of you that don't watch very often, Meyer recently moved from San Francisco out. Uh, how many miles away?
I don't know how many miles it is.
A few hours away.
Like,
And uh,
I
and
don't know. Can
he's
you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah, oh, that's pretty long. And he's
Yeah,
redecorating a new
from the
place
west,
with all his
from the
collection.
beach to the mountains, from the west side of the state to the east side of the state.
Okay, and he's unboxing his whole collection and redecorating and creating a whole new environment. John Gora says there's this black metal band, Canis. I believe they're called, and it's gnarly dogs like pit bulls and Rottweilers doing the vocals. Oh, they sampled the dogs barking and stuff for really? That sounds actually good. Except it would probably be good to put those dogs barking and over like the Taylor Swift backing tracks. I think that would be even funnier if it was put on whatever it is normal people listen to. What is it normal people listen to? What is it they do? What what is what is a
What
normal
normal people
person
do?
doing right now? Watching football, listening to Taylor Swift. What is a normal thing to do? I have no idea.
Let's see. Um, so see, I moved that shelf from here to there. Doesn't it look better?
Hold on a second. I'm trying to configure this stuff here. Oop, there we go. Okay, show me again.
Can't really see because of the lighting. Anyway, I just moved
Yeah,
some.
it's well. There you go. It's because you had bright light coming in the window. It
Yeah,
was
because I have to
overwhelming.
close. If I close these drapes, it'll or these blinds. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. That's the problem. The bright light is great in person, but on camera, it makes everything else look black.
Yeah, hold on. Let's fix that.
So everybody seems to be up in arms about the Mego Spider-Man dolls only available at Disneyland, and they're saying,
Is that the deal? Really?
yeah, people are really wanting them, and that I guess people think they'll eventually be in Disney stores at malls or something, but
I don't know.
yeah.
That's kind of messed up. So I only have this little bit of cardboard left, right? And it
Oh,
probably looks like a lot, but it used to be giant stacks of cardboard,
yeah,
because
yeah,
of all the
yeah.
boxes.
No, that doesn't look like a lot to me.
I'm still using the milk crates, and over here I really consolidated and really built like this little bookshelf area with the milk crates. They it holds all magazines. It really books and magazines fit really well in there. Then all these action figures, these 12-inch tall action figures fit perfectly.
Yeah, it's really coming along.
Yeah, that's about it. Um, yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing going on other than me working around the house. Now that I bought this flocked Christmas, so when I was looking at buying a Christmas tree, it's artificial tree. Um, I knew that part of buying this tree meant that it would accelerate my need for a vacuum because I haven't bought a new vacuum yet. I left my old vacuum in the city with the dirt
Yeah,
from the old apartment inside of it and decided to buy an all new vacuum for the new carpet. I
yeah,
haven't been keeping the carpet. I've been keeping the carpet really clean purposefully because I don't have a vacuum yet, and I just don't feel. I know vacuums are fairly expensive, right? They're not
yeah.
cheap anymore, or whatever. And so I'm like, really want a tree. I really want a flocked tree. This means I'm going to have to buy a vacuum soon. So yeah, I need to buy a vacuum eventually, very soon.
Oh, so the flock tree, the white stuff falls off it, I guess.
Yeah, like look right now. So here's what I did. This is the paper that comes inside of the tree that you put on the floor when you assemble the tree. So right now I just left it down until I get the vacuum because I don't want to like pull it up and then more shit falls down. I want to do it all at one time. Try and get as much off of it and then vacuum it, you know.
Well, I'm sure it's better than what they they used to sell boxes in the 40s and 50s of snow to
Really
put
nice
on your
tree.
tree that was asbestos.
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be so sure. I think it was manufactured in China. I think this tree is made by a company called Yahitek. Yeah.
That's something Godzilla would have to kill. Yeah,
It's
he
called
tech.
Yahitek, and it's the top rated tree on Amazon. And this they want you to buy this tree so much that I'm telling you, all I did was look at this tree and add it to my cart for a few days. Pretty soon as I turned my TV on the home screen on my TV, right? That usually it's supposed to show like Thursday Night Football on Amazon or whatever. It's a whole commercial on Tech telling you how easy it is to put this tree together. And also even telling you if you put the paper down, it's not that big of a deal to vacuum it up if you're worried about vacuuming. I'm like, how the fuck are you reading my mind? Amazon trying to sell me this tree, but they did.
Wow.
They did it. Yeah.
Tech.
There's still like a horse stampede on the floor over here, but now there's this albino gorilla that's kind of leading them into the couch. It's a dead end. I don't know where they're doing it. The box canyon here in the living room.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck there. They can't keep roaming around the living room. They're kind of stuck in the corner.
Library 88 says, hey, all, been AWOL with Uber family visits. Great setup, Meyer. And P.S. Goris's Batman animation is incredible.
It is.
P.S. Meyer's comic cover poster backdrops are great eye candy. And he says, love the white gorilla leading the horse charge.
Look at this scale miniature 7-Eleven store that I unpacked, and it needs to be really cleaned up. Look at the sign busted off. I need to like
Oh, no.
But
Yeah,
nothing broke. Look, it's perfect still.
Yeah. I remember you getting that a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Got a look at
fantastic.
the phone booth in front. Isn't that cool with the phone booth in the front?
Yeah. There's no ice machine in front, though. I remember always
Yeah, there's
seeing.
no ice machine. There's no paper box. There's no bicycle rack. Right over here is where we used to hang out on the side, this side. At our 7-Eleven, there used to be a light right here, a light post that came out right here. And we would all cruise up our bikes, and we would just leave our bikes here and then walk around the corner into 7-Eleven. Our bikes would just be sitting right here. We wouldn't park out front. We would park
Yeah.
around the side. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Do you know,
Look in the
like
back,
your?
there's even a loading dock. See?
So that's for a train layout, right?
Yeah, it's for I guess this is HO scale train
Yeah.
layout.
Is that Do you know the year that model kit was
I
made?
don't. I'm not sure if anything's written on the bottom that tells the year of it. It's kind of wild. You can look inside there.
So that's so you can light it, huh?
Yeah, this
It's
is so you
hollow.
can light it, and this would have been. It says all it does. It just says "Made in Taiwan" ROC on the bottom. I do know that the same company that made this 7-Eleven also made a KFC, and I think it's a Dunkin' Donuts. I think it's a Dunkin' Donuts. And I
Yeah.
don't know the year. I'm guessing probably the 80s, 90s. I don't know.
I thought my phone was plugged in, but it's not, and it's starting to make this noise that means that it's about to die. So
Good
I had to
roof
turn the
detail with the
power
ducts and
switch on.
everything, and the air conditioning units.
Wow.
But it's great for putting because Hot Wheels are the exact right scale, so it's great for putting Hot Wheels scale cars in front of and everything.
Oh, Hot
Makes
Wheels
them,
are HO scale.
yeah, let me show you
Really?
how great it looks with some cars. Yeah, it fits perfectly. I'll show you in a second. Look, let me grab a couple cars. Try and grab something that looks right. That's kind of period. All right, so let me show you what we can do. Here, we'll set it up on the stove. So the cars will, you can park them all around because they fit perfectly. Like, here's the back. Like these guys are let's see, this guy would be parked this way. He's backed up. This guy's this way, and they're talking to each other. They're like doing something wrong, maybe like criminals. And in the back, here's the cop. He's like sneaking up. He's like peering around. Look, here's how I usually have this set up. You can have it set up like the front of the 7-Eleven like this, and cars can just pull right up to it.
Yeah, that's great,
Yeah, it looks really good. It works perfectly.
man. Did
So
you
I have to
bought it
wash
built
that
up or
and then
did you
glue
build
that
it?
back on. Oh, dusty. What's up, guys? Look at this great car.
Oh yeah.
Cadillac Coupe de Ville. I think the hood opens on this car. Nice, huh? Okay. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just my brain's kind of melting from lack of sleep.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't have anything going on today, I don't think. Going to help my son fix his sunroof on his truck in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Maybe tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be this afternoon or tomorrow. Tomorrow's his day off, but he's off for the rest of the day. He's off already. So I don't know if we'll do
Yeah.
that or not.
I had this. We have these adjustable beds that go up and down and everything, and mine stopped working yesterday. So let's
So are
see.
you stuck in an upright position? Do you have to
No,
sleep
it's at
somewhere
least
else?
it's stuck flat, but it's not. You get used to being able to move yourself up to watch TV, and I don't know whether this company Svin and Sons. How do you get stuff repaired? Do they send people out here to BFE to fix stuff? I don't know.
I'm just making myself a drink.
I've got a what I have that's similar to what Meyer just showed, although it's not a 7-Eleven. It's a diner. Oh, John Goris says, Meyer, did you ever get any of those Hess promo toys they put out a couple decades ago? I don't know. You talking about Rudolph Hess? I don't know what
I
Hess
don't
is.
know. I'm not sure what the Hess promo toys.
Do you know what Hess is?
I think I thought it was a trucking or a trailer company or a tractor
Oh,
company. Is that what he's referring to? I'm not sure though.
I don't know. I don't know anything. This is a Myrtle's whistle stop. It's not as elaborate as or painted as well as as that 7-Eleven. Um, Meyer, did you see the Batman video that John Goris did?
Yeah, I did. It was great. Loved it.
Oh, this music is not as good as Seabird. Got some inferior music going on here. The last video in this playlist it says AEI Merry Christmas mixed tempo. But this is not as pleasing. I have to. Yeah, man, this is not. This is not up to my standards. He says, believe it's a gas company. Yeah, I don't know, man. It might be something regional where you live, John, that we don't know about. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that. What kind of toys are they? They're
Oh shit! That almost made those fall. Fuck. Excuse me.
Last Frontier, Hess are gas station convenience stores. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Must be just on the East Coast.
Oh, is this thing
God,
plugged?
this music's fucked up and shitty.
Phone needs to be plugged in. Hey, have you ever seen this? I just grabbed this off the shelf because I did put everything on the shelves. Um, you ever seen this?
Yeah, it's
The
some
Whole
hippie
Earth
thing, isn't
catalog.
it?
This is the last Whole Earth catalog. Remember this?
I remember it existing.
You ever had one?
No, I didn't really know what it was. I figured it was something that hippies read.
It is. So it's like the Sears and Roebuck catalog from the 1920s and 30s, except it's for hippies in the 60s and 70s. So inside here are all kinds of articles and products, and the articles typically are like promoting the products. And there's entire sections. Oops, shit! I didn't mean to do that. There's
What
entire
was
sections in
was
here.
there nudity or
Um,
something? I didn't. I looked down.
there's a slight bit of nudity.
Okay.
I didn't know it would be there. Uh, but but it's in here. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Oh, see it? That's right. Vehicles, trucks, planes. I remember seeing like trucks that said Hess on the side of it. But anyway,
uh,
basically, this was the idea was this catalog provides you with all of the resources that you would need to live off the grid as a long hair,
oh, you're right. To
like
be like
disgusting
some
person, like
Grateful Dead.
building a geodesic dome, like how to mine for gold, how to make your own rocking chair, stuff like that. It's all in here. It's
it's
kind of fun, really. I mean, there's tons of crazy stuff in here.
it's like the anti-anarchist cookbook. It's
Yeah, it's the
for
opposite of that.
yeah.
It's super peacenik. It's real hippified.
Yeah.
It's all about teaching you about communal living, how to either how to make your own instruments, how to purchase instruments and parts and put them together yourself, all
Huh.
kinds of stuff. It's pretty fascinating, really. It's a great coffee table book.
Yeah.
It's really huge, though, so it was at the bottom of a box that I just unpacked yesterday, and I was like, oh, I need to find a spot on the shelf that's big enough for this. It's giant.
Is it like the size of a Treasury edition?
Yeah, it is. It's maybe a little. I think it's exactly the size of a Treasury edition.
So like the size of
Maybe
a
a little
Life
bigger.
magazine.
Maybe bigger. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what the year is. It says that this is the last one.
I wonder why they thought it was the
Um,
last.
it's 1971 Portola Institute. Yeah, so according to them, this is the last one. I don't know what that means. But the address for the Whole Earth catalog is Menlo Park, California, which is South San Francisco.
Sean Gora says that reminds me of the attacking the Death Star schematics bit in Hardware Wars with the rapid slides, and they sneak in a 70s centerfold.
Yes. Yeah, this has got a lot of stuff that's kind of creepily snuck in. It's kind of neat, really, when you're flipping through it. Suddenly, there's like this emaciated child, right?
Yeah. What the heck is wrong with
Yeah,
these
right when
hippies?
we had just been, reading about how to plant star lilies. You know,
I was listening to an old broadcast from the 60s while I was unboxing today and didn't even think about it. And then I wind up with a copyright claim from the Grateful Dead. Man, it's like that's a new one because I don't normally have that shit playing. Uh,
really. Wonder
yeah,
how
it was
that
a
happened.
Well, I was playing. I was an old radio air check from the '60s, and they happened to be playing one of their songs. I remember I tried to turn the sound down, but I guess it. So I'm gonna have to mute that song. Not that I'll ever be able to. The only thing that it does is it makes the video unavailable in Russia. Russians can't watch it, and I have a lot of Russian fans. Just kidding. But I would love to have people in Russia watch.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hmm.
Whenever you have a song playing in the background on YouTube, they'll give you a copyright claim, and it'll say your video will not be able to be seen by people in Russia, or it used to be Russia, Cuba, and Iran. It's like those countries are punished. They're not allowed to hear music, which is probably our only export that we have anymore is our music. What else would anyone even care about coming from the United States?
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of a book called Foxfire before?
No, but it seems like there was a Clint Eastwood movie called that. Or was it
So
Firefox? I think it
it
was
was
Firefox.
Firefox. So
Okay.
Foxfire was a book that was, and I think it was annual, maybe it was biannual or something. It was a
Uh-huh.
book in the early 70s, I think, that's similar to this, but it was smaller. It's like a regular sized paperback, like reference book. I just remember I don't have any of them anymore, but I used to have like Foxfire 2, 3, and 4, I think. I ended up giving them to my friend in 8th grade. But what they were they were really handbooks for off the grid living. Like it wasn't so much they were trying to sell you anything, it wasn't a catalog. It was teaching you how to like make a subterranean cave that would be livable in the winter, how to like cure and make jerky out of squirrel or beaver meat, how to live inside of a burned out tree, all these. It was like how to completely live as a woodsman in the mountains. And they used to put them out in the 70s. It was a thing. You might come across, I'm asked because I remember seeing them, and it might just be a California or West Coast thing, but they used to be pretty popular. Like you would see them in used bookstores all the time in the paperback department. You'd see the old Foxfire there.
Yeah.
Teach you
That
how to
whole
make
earth,
snares
yeah.
and traps to catch fish and small game.
Uh that whole Earth catalog looks is something like what you used to see in like half price books a lot. Half price. Have you ever been in a half price books?
No, we don't have that here.
That was a chain that started in Dallas. I was in the very first one. It had a maze of rooms. It was on. You could get lost in there. Then they're all over. They even have one up here. Um, um, and then there's another, but they would have old kind of hippie type books a lot of time in the early days.
Right.
Um, do you remember Man, Myth, and Magic? We talked about that before, haven't we? Was that you that I talked about that with?
Man, Myth, and Magic. It sounds familiar.
Oh man, well it was a magazine that came out like around '74 or something, and it would have stuff about mythology and weird religions and zombie. It was about the occult, and each issue had something. Then they had it come out in hardcover form. I'm not really even sure. I've got a few volumes of it somewhere. I don't know where.
I
But
don't
I
remember.
remember seeing it in bookstores when I was around 73, 74, 75, and it just looked like something
Remember Fate?
like,
My mom used to subscribe to this magazine called Fate magazine.
yeah,
For a
I
couple
remember
of years,
Fate.
she
Yeah.
subscribed to Fate.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it a small digest sized magazine?
It was a digest-sized magazine, like a TV guide, and it was about paranormal stuff. It was like
Yeah.
UFOs and Bigfoot and ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah. There was Fate. There was Omni, which the Guccione magazine. And um,
I don't remember Man, Myth. What was it? Man, Myth, and Monsters? That was it?
no, Man, Myth, and Magic. It would have stuff about witchcraft. It'd have covers. It was very it was like weird. It was like it looked like something like if you picked it up from the book, it's like it looked somewhat appealing to a little kid. But then you figure if I pick this up, I'm gonna be like that little girl in The Exorcist. There's something's gonna pop into me from
Right.
it. And then it would have, I think it would have nudity in it too. It was just clearly like something like, what is this? It was just always, it seems like it was because in the 70s, that hippie generation was interested in the occult, and I think a lot there for a while.
This other big book was in here, and it's a really kind of cool big photo book that was right on top of that whole Earth catalog that's so huge. But it's filled with these really big photos.
Yeah,
This is also one that's like we could open this up and it could be that photograph of that Vietnamese guy getting shot in the head. But look at this picture right here. I don't know. We got to look and see who this guy is.
it looks like what was his name in Thunderball?
This is a priest with an eye patch and he's smoking, and it's at like a rally or a protest or something. There's a nun right here too. Let's read it. Doesn't say anything. Hold on.
Something just popped up at the top of my screen that says "What a scam!" But it was from Elon Musk. It was from X. So I guess whenever Elon Musk posts something, it pops up on the top of my phone.
This has to do with the march in Selma, Alabama. That's what all these photographs are from Selma, Alabama,
Oh,
including that guy that we just. That's a great picture.
yeah.
Including this right here. This is from Selma. So I maybe this is some priest in Alabama that was at the Civil Rights March, and I
I
guess for
guess.
you. Yeah. And they have this whole article like I don't know who this Tom Wolfe and the Pump House Gang. I
Yeah.
don't know who that is.
Oh yeah. Tom Wolfe wasn't he the guy that wrote the electric Kool-Aid acid test?
Okay. Well,
And he
no, I
traveled
thought that
around
was
in a bus that was
all
all
that is
painted
with
up.
Ken Kesey, right?
Yeah, and that what was that guy that Jack Kerouac was inspired
Neil
by?
Cassidy. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
Neil
think he was
Cassidy?
on it.
Yeah, here they all are. They're all here. Got a picture. Those are them. This is them right here. This is the on the road guys back there on those motorcycles.
Yeah.
Great photograph.
Yeah.
Here's Hillary Clinton. Go with Goldwater.
And there's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, look at it. It's a really poorly drawn nuclear bomb.
That's probably her artwork. They say she smells horribly.
Yes,
Everyone
like
says that. Yeah, I've
I've
heard
heard
that, but
most
I've
of
just
her
heard
emo
she
bomb
just
songs.
smells
So
bad in general. But yeah. You've seen Biden lately? His hair's all crazy. I mean, they're
that was
really,
funny, wasn't it? Look at this old man in the beetle wig. Isn't that funny?
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, that was pretty funny, man. His that the plugs are going haywire. He looks awful, dude.
yeah.
It's
It's all intentional. They want him to look bad. There's all that's intentional.
yeah, yeah, I think so. Just like the same stuff with the Kamala thing too.
With her reading that thing drunk, but yeah,
Yeah, with them letting her come on camera like that, or not making her do what she should have been doing from the beginning, or whatever the hell they were, whoever that woman is, whatever the heck was going on there.
yeah. That's why some people think it's all scripted because it just seems so much like a movie that we're watching. But
General Westmoreland, right there, I think, right?
what kind of uniform is that? All white.
I'm not sure. I don't
I mean,
know.
that's not an army uniform, is it? It's like a naval, isn't that a navy
Yeah,
or
but it's not
white?
a naval uniform either. I mean, I'm not sure why he's wearing that uniform. I don't know. Look at this. This picture's great. Look at this picture.
What's going on there? It's just a guy that's shell shocked.
I guess we'll read what it says. Vietnam War. He's got an M16.
Oh, okay.
A Marine in Way after the Tet Offensive, 1968. That's what it says.
When was the M16 invented?
Um, Early 60s, maybe 62.
Okay. Is that
Another great photograph.
remember all the Migo, all the apes, Planet of the Apes gorillas had M16s instead of the ones from the movie. I think they were left over from Action Jackson or something.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this book is pretty wild. Look at this photo.
What's going on there?
It's some woman looks like she was just burned or
Oh,
recently
yeah. Well,
burned.
I figure she didn't seem happy.
No, it looks like
Uh,
a.
John says Kamala should have a YouTube channel, but it'd probably be too much work for her. I'd subscribe. I think there is one that she had that, but it always had Trump's YouTube channel had 4 times as many people subscribing, so that should have been an indication
Yeah.
of how the election's going to go. Uh, Let me be real New World Order like. Yes, I'm going to go to Bohemian Grove later tonight. I've been enjoying. Well, I haven't actually been able to hear Alex Jones, but I've been recording him every day with the thought that someday I'll actually listen to the tapes, to the recordings. But I guess I probably never will. But he's been really good. What I've heard of him lately, man, he's nailing everything.
I don't listen to him. I just watch clips now and then.
Yeah, I'm just always preserving everything, like some
I
not.
got this new Ulick figure the other day. Check it out. It looks pretty good. It
Who
looks
is he
good.
now? He's a He-Man guy.
No, this is
Oh, it's
Ulick.
Ulick. Oh,
Princess of
yeah,
Thor.
Ulick from Thor. Shit.
Yeah, yeah.
First,
Check it out. So he looks pretty darn good. So
yeah,
like his body looks perfect to me. He looks just like right out of the comic books, but then the face is probably, not quite. It'd be cool. So he comes with 2 head sculpts, right? One with where he's kind of gritting his teeth and one where his mouth is open. I like it all, but I would prefer it if one of these head sculpts looked like the way that Jack Kirby drew him.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Neither
this
one looks like
body
Kirby.
is fine. This could pass for a Jack Kirby body, right? And then
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
just put Kirby's head, it would look perfect, wouldn't it?
yeah. What figures do you have that look Kirby, most Kirby like that you have out? You could show us because I'm
Um,
curious.
I got this one
How do
right
you
here.
sculpt a Kirby look?
Yeah, I'll show you a great example of it. So DC put out like only a couple figures, like probably about 15 years ago, where they did some Kirby characters, but they didn't do the greatest ones. But here's Orion that looks perfect.
Yeah, that looks Kirby. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, Library 88 saying the same thing. There's some fourth world Kirby figures.
Yes,
Yeah, he's thinking
this
this
is one of
exact
those.
same thing you are. Yeah.
This is one of those. And let me see if there's anything else that I can think of that's
I
out here.
wonder, are there any Fantastic Four figures that have been done that really look Kirby like?
Um, that newest thing looks really good, but it's not necessarily. Let's go look at it. It's not completely Kirby-like, but it's pretty close.
Um, there were some Funko Pops that were done to look like Kirby. Of course, they're Funko Pops, but they.
And then you know that figure I sent you, that Psycho Man figure. It's right here.
Uh
It's
huh.
pretty close.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That Fantastic Four cartoon in the '90s, the first season was pretty but the second season was great. The second season followed the comics from the mid '60s very closely. It was really good. That was the mid '90s. They had an Iron Man series that was terrible.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched them because I had little kids at the time, so we watched all of it.
but you remember the second season, Fantastic Four was just they had different people doing it, and it was just really good.
Yeah, and do you remember the Silver Surfer cartoon that came out also right around that same time?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
It was
It was
okay.
one of yeah, it was computer generated to a certain extent.
Yeah, some of it
It was
was.
good. It was done to look like Kirby, and the only problem is they left out the Fantastic Four, but they had to, I guess. Uh, and the other cartoon that had a Kirby look was that DC Brave and the Bold cartoon. Um, that was it was kind of meant for younger audiences, but it had a pretty good look to it. Um, Even though you don't really associate Kirby with those characters, it had that look. Um,
I like this
so you haven't seen Creature Commandos yet, huh?
trying to untie this bag that I also found last night that I haven't opened up yet, but I can tell what's in it. But it came out of my son's bedroom closet. Remember how at one point I was like, I need to make a series of videos about things that I find in my kid's closet or under my kid's bed.
Yeah.
So this entire thing is just filled with nothing but martial arts and boxing gear.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Another one. This is so. This is how you handle when you have two teenage sons. You get them together and you pat them all up, and then you just let them beat on each other.
You in the apartment?
Well, here's the real deal. No, that's not what it's for. It's for. I didn't let my kids fight each other. In this is my son is a martial artist. He's like really serious boxer. He's a real
Oh.
boxer. But this is all old stuff that was his when he was a kid, when he first started, and it was left behind. Look at this
Oh.
thing.
Do you
I
think
had to
he
buy
wants it? Have you
this.
asked him
Wasn't
if he
cheap.
wants it?
At one point, I bought all of this, and I remember at one point I was paying for his gym fees for kung fu and boxing, and uh, that Thai boxing he was doing, Thai kickboxing. It was like
Right.
$2,200 a year. I'm serious. I was paying $2,000 a year for him to learn how to beat people up.
What's this macho on it?
Yeah, this he used to have to when he was little. When they did sparring, when he was like 12 or 13 or something, they had to wear all this gear when they fought each other in class, and the parents had
Oh,
to
in
buy them.
class.
What a racket!
Have you ever heard of the SCA, the Society
Yeah,
for
the
Creative
Society for
Anachronism?
Creative Anachronism.
Is that all over the country? I thought maybe it was a Texas thing.
No, it's all over the country. I first saw it at Fort Bragg, of all places. When I first saw it, it was a bunch of Army guys at Fort Bragg that were in the 82nd, a bunch of paratroopers that had their own SCA going on at Fort Bragg that had swords and axes and stuff
Yeah, they
in the
for those
80s.
of you that don't know, there's like a it's like a I guess it's
Oh, shit. Sorry,
oh
guys.
that's all right.
So,
So so whenever we used to hear that sound of the truck about to run you over, it was your son calling you, right? And now he
yes.
lives like right next door. So
Yeah, that was just a text from Snake thanking me for the Rockford Files interstitial soundtrack that I sent him this morning. Because
that's good.
in the
Is that
group
on
chat, you
YouTube?
guys were talking about how great the Rockford Files theme song is. Well,
Yeah.
there's a series of videos on YouTube where someone has captured entire soundtrack, not just the intro and the outro, but all the interstitials, the scene changes, and made them into like 1 hour long video. So there's like season one, and it's an incredible video. It's like an hour long music video
Oh,
that's just nothing but all of the music from the first season of Rockford Files. Very
yeah,
good.
that sounds like something I need to record. So you could you send me that link too? And
Yeah, I'll
there's
send it to you. I'll send it to you
similarly,
later.
you can get all the. Someone's done that with the Wild Wild West, the music. You know, when they're assembling their weapons, that cool music that played, and there's $6 Million Man compilations of the the music that played while he was doing his slow motion stuff.
Don't forget, you guys, that this year it turns over. It happens this year.
What
See, look,
happens?
it's December 31st is going to be on Tuesday, and then boom, January 1st, 1975 starts on a Wednesday.
Oh,
So you can jump right to your 1975 calendars. If you guys still have your Marvel calendar from 1975 or any other 1975 calendars you might have around the house, you can
yeah.
use 75, and then you can use 76 next year. From here on out, and all of the 20s, it's gonna be lined up from here on out, you guys.
Well, okay, cool. Yeah, I have my 75 calendar. We only have 9 people watching. I don't know how many of them have their 75 calendars, but you can get one. I think someone's doing a book that reprints all those calendars, but you can't hang the book on the wall. Uh, what are people saying here? Library 88. There's pictures of things that I can't make out. Looks like a truck, a magnifying glass, and a fish skeleton, possibly. I don't know what that is. Then he says, "Oh yeah, the Marvel 75 goes into effect." Nice, thanks for the reminder. Cool. Sounds like Library 88 has a copy of that.
Yeah, what else can I do?
Time is it, man? 2:04. I think. That's great. I'm going to need to get something to eat here. I'm gonna go over to get the cheeseburger, which I think I can stay on while I'm doing that.
There's some GI Joes and some Power Rangers. Yeah, that's what's there.
Is that the modern packaging that doesn't have a window, or is that the back of the package, or what?
No, that's the front. These are the big ones. These
Oh,
they open up with Velcro. See, look, these like old 12-inch GI Joe size.
so they're doing the new GI Joe in the old scale.
Those no, that's not G. It's yeah, they are. Okay, so yeah, they are, and it is made by Hasbro, and it's made by a company called 30. But this isn't for general release. This is like a collector's thing. These are expensive.
Oh
These are
yeah.
like $100 a piece or more. So it's
Okay.
not like little kids are buying and playing with these. The new GI Joes are 6 inches. Like the that's the size of like if you're looking like a new GI Joe looks like this, and this is what the plastic packaging, the no plastic packaging looks like this. So you can't really see the figure, but there's a picture of him. But new GI Joes are 6 inches tall and all made of plastic with no cloth accessories, and they're about $25 a piece. But that one right there is a 12-inch tall figure that's for adult collectors. It's about $150.
Excuse me.
And they're all great. I love it all. It's all great. I love all of it. I love all these toy lines. I love all this new stuff, and I love the old stuff too.
Yep, it looks cool to me. I don't know much about the new stuff, but it looks interesting. Uh,
Oh, check this out, you guys. So I discovered this. I don't know if I mean, obviously, this would only work if you're a bachelor and if you don't give a shit like me. But here's what I did. Look, I have a huge baseball cap collection, right? A giant baseball cap collection. But in
right.
my baseball cap collection, I probably have 8 or 10 caps that I wear frequently. And so what I did was, look, so all you got to do is like take this field jacket, look, and I just put the cap over the field jacket like that, and then boom, and then now you got all the caps lined up like that. If you're a weird OCD Gulf War veteran bachelor like myself. See, look, see, I got my Desert Storm vet right over my OG 107s. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my idea. It's my baseball cap hack is to stick them over your hanger. See, look, see this Reagan Bush is right over this Marlboro hockey jersey that I have from the UN in Korea. This is kind of cool. Look at this jersey. Look, this was what a time this was when I played for the United Nations hockey team.
You did?
Like it's a bit. Yeah, sure I did.
I don't. Sorry, I don't know what I'm.
No, not. It came from a gym where I did play hockey in this jersey, but I was in the army at the time, and there was just a big giant wooden box full of jerseys, and you could just take whatever jersey you wanted. I'm serious. And there was a whole bunch of them. And I just got this retarded number 15 that looks like it's supposed to be a 16, but it's actually a 15. And I wore this for a year. Yeah, and I grabbed it because on the sleeve it says Marlboro, which I thought was funny because I was like, wow, somebody at one point did Marlboro sponsor some goofy United Nations hockey club that was here in Seoul? And I guess that's what the situation was. That's what happened. And then I ended up with the jersey in like 1989. That's where it came from. But yeah, it just came from the gym. My surfboard collection that's of no use any longer.
Well, it looks cool.
Yeah, I might do something with them. Like put them up on the wall in a rack or do something with them. I don't know. I got to fix this painting of this nude woman and finish it. And I think I'm going to turn her into like a green Gamorrean dancing girl or something. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. Look at this great Thanksgiving cover.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have a whole winter's worth of unmade models to make. So if we get snowed in, I have all these models that I can make.
Yeah. Have you had any snow yet?
No, we have not. It's actually been warm. It warmed up the last week. It's 64 outside right now. And it hasn't been frozen in the mornings. Like I heard you this morning say that it was like 29 or something like that. It's
Yeah.
been in the 30s here, even in the it hasn't
Well, I'm gonna
it
be
got
right
really
back.
cold and it was freezing. And then about a week ago it went back to not being so bad. went on my walk this morning and I listened to your video during my walk. That's why I heard you say that it's hell waiting for packages. I thought that was fun. You still there? Yeah. Oh, you got something.
What's going on, me? P.S. The images. A truck and a French horn and a trumpet for Meyer's phone noise, like the magnifying glass and fish skeleton too. Oh, he's explaining what that meant. Yeah. Nice painting, Meyer. Love a green woman, says Live Radiate. Yeah, I'm. You got to understand. I'm watching the show on a telephone screen, so it's little like
Thank you.
everything's the size of a postage stamp that I'm looking at, so I can't make out little emojis. Ugh. Well, wonder where Kevin's at. He's probably got a busy day. Hopefully.
Yeah, he might. He might.
Yeah, he's last Saturday. He said it was real busy. I remember he missed most of the show, even though he was on it. Had to watch it later, but he said it wound up not even being a very successful day. All the people who were in there talking didn't really buy much. They bought like little $6 purchases and stuff. So you know how to fix sunroofs on cars, trucks?
I know how to seal one that's leaking.
Oh,
he doesn't he doesn't care that his sunroof doesn't work anymore, but it's leaking water, and so I'm gonna seal it with some caulking.
okay. I had to get my sunroof replaced because of the hail. That guy fixed it. Man, he had it done in maybe 2 minutes, putting the new glass in. It's apparently very easy if you know what you're doing. I need to talk to someone older to find out when comics became socially unacceptable.
I think that was pretty close. What you were saying about when the direct market started, I think this could be part of it. You're onto something there. Um,
I don't remember a lot
because
of kids in elementary school into comics, but we didn't feel ashamed about it.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was going to say the same thing. So it wasn't until about eighth grade or maybe ninth grade that it would be like a geek or a dork would be a person. I don't even know though. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think that at the same time that we're talking about, which would have been like 1979 or 1980 or 1978, Dungeons and Dragons was also just starting, and also Star Wars was just starting. Those were
Yeah.
the two things that were much dorkier and geekier than comic books.
Well, Star Wars though was accepted by everyone
Yeah, it was.
initially.
You're right. So it didn't become dorky or geeky until later, I guess.
Well,
I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
there was that first 6 years, man, when Return of the Jedi opened in May of '83. Everybody from high school was there,
Yeah,
waiting to
and
get in the
moms and
theater. It
dads,
was,
everybody was there. I think more than anything, as far as it being like something that happened or what year it was, I think it's more important to look at that at the age of 12 and 13, a young boy is not supposed to still be reading comic books. That's how I grew up. That's what I grew up around. Or playing with
right.
toys or action figures. You're supposed to be working outside or already having a job or focusing on sports or something else. So I think it's more that you get aged out of comic books in
Yeah.
adolescence, I think is what it is. So if you continue to be a comic book kid, then you're kind of a geek or a dork, I guess, or a different, I don't know, but that's
For
kind of that can
people,
be it.
yeah, I don't know. Something happened that ruined everything, whatever it was. Oh, okay.
Is it still cold outside even during the daytime like right now? I mean, is there still
Nah,
all the snow is gone, right?
I'd say it's in the 50s out there.
Oh, okay. But then
So,
overnight it drops into the 20s, right?
well, it did earlier this week. Let me take a look at what it's doing now. Um, Wednesday it's going to be between 19 degrees and 30 degrees. Thursday between 15 and 33. Friday between 23 and 46. Next Saturday 29 to 44. Next Sunday 33 degrees to 50 degrees. Monday 31 degrees to 42 degrees. Today it's going up to 55. Tomorrow it's going to get up to 56, low 37. Monday it's getting up to 51 degrees. Um, yeah, it's
I just thought of something. Did I show you this TV table that I bought and put together the other day? It turned out really good. It was.
no.
I hate always having to talk about Amazon, but at any rate, look at this table. It came out pretty good for really cheap. Like what is it called, Black Friday or something?
Yeah.
So this was $50, and
Huh.
this is a 55-inch TV, and it's got those shelves that work pretty good, and it holds the whole TV set just fine, and it's kind of good.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well,
And then I got this coffee table. This is the coffee table that I got to replace the milk cartons that were like coffee table for so long,
yeah.
for a month. But yeah, that's it. But I like that little table. It's kind of cool for the TV.
Last Frontier says home video games started the downfall of the coolness of comics. You know, that's true. It was
Hmm.
all about the same time, so it's hard to isolate it to one thing. Dungeons and Dragons was a contributing factor, though, because it was just, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons was a new low. I mean, playing games is fun, but when you, I don't know, man. Maybe I know it's so. I don't want to insult people into that, but my friends that got into that, it was embarrassing, man. It's, I'm sure it's wonderful, but it just
I
seemed
played
too
it. We had fun
complicated to
with it.
me.
We played it. I started in eighth grade all the way up to high school, and then
I,
even in the army had friends that played D&D in the army too.
I was just, I just resisted. They wanted me to play it. I just said, no, man, I can't sink that far, man. I'm already too far with these comic books, man. But
I think it has to do with maybe your friend group too.
yeah,
Like it was a cultural thing with us. It was We weren't just getting together and playing Dungeons and Dragons. We were also partying. It was an all night when we would play Dungeons and Dragons. It was an all night purposeful stay up all night long and party, drink beer, smoke pot, drink Dr. Pepper, jolt cola, and snap bong hits, and then pretend that you're a dwarf. But that's what we were doing, and all through high school.
yeah, these people were not like that that I knew. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's great. It's just yeah, part of what it just things became less fun because the comics weren't as well done, and the direct market comics weren't as interesting to me. Then things just got even worse in the '90s.
Right when I was losing interest, which was in 1983, which was our senior year, I got a job working at a comic shop. After my whole, you know, whatever you want, adolescent, my whole teen years, the dream of being able to work in a comic shop came true right at the time when I was not as interested in comics anymore. I had a way busier social life. I was not living at home anymore. I was living in a house with a bunch of my buddies who we shared a big house together, and I didn't care that much about comic books. So I kind of became, even at like 18 or 17, however old I was working at the shop, I became cynical of of comics at that point. Like you're saying, in '83, I was already like, eh.
Yeah. Well, working in a comic store now would make you just, I think, really hate them because just seeing all the collections that come in of '90s comics and just, oh, it's so horrible. Now, if all you're seeing is Silver Age coming in and Golden Age,
Right,
that would
that's a
be
whole different thing.
fantastic.
That'd be great.
Um, but that's not what you see. You barely even see early '70s comics.
Yeah, what was it called? The Death of Superman? That really screwed the pooch.
Oh, that was bad. That was real bad.
That happened, and then the glut came after that. That's when all of a sudden pogs and, like we were talking about earlier,
Oh, hogs.
sports cards mixed with comic shops with that were that were serving up the 90s glut, right?
And
Image
and, and then
and
Beanie
Valiant.
Babies were in there too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
good time.
all these people bought up all this Death of Super. Oh, that was terrible. And he comes back with a mullet, and everything was terrible back then. It was all
Love
bad.
Life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all of that was just a horrible time. Ugh, God. Yeah.
And so the real burner is now that's what you expect when somebody says, "Hey, you're not going to believe it, but I found a couple big boxes of these old comics. You're going to love them." So the
Yeah.
first thing that pops into your mind is it's going to be everything from 1993 to 1996, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the old comics that you found.
Yeah, well, it is. I guess
Eight
that's
out of 10
old to
times.
people because, when I was a kid in the early 70s, something that was old was from 1966,
Mhm.
67. So that was just that stuff was only
Yeah, so it aligns.
6, 7 years old, right?
Yeah,
8 years old, maybe. And I thought it was ancient. And now
yeah,
something from the 90s,
it's not.
man, that's almost like stuff that might as well be stuff that might as well be me in the early 70s looking at stuff from World War II. That really is old to someone that's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well,
remember
it's
1975 thinking, to us or to me, 1945, which now, it was 30 years, felt like a ridiculous amount of time. And in your mind, you picture it was all in black and white, and that it was like an ancient time. But now, 30 years flew by like nothing. The 90s compared to now is not the same as the 70s compared to the 40s, is it? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, partly you're right. Yeah,
I
some
guess it
people
is.
think of the past as being in black and white. I never did, but I see how you would. Some people would. I think that and to a certain degree, it's things seem so far away because today, a kid can see when you took your first steps, look at it on this phone. Here's your first words. Every moment of your life is preserved, hours and hours of it. When I was a kid, there was one little reel of super of, not, of 8
Right.
millimeter film of me, and it's faded out where you can't even see it because the 70s film didn't survive like the 60s film, which was better.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
and there's a few scrapbooks. I don't have many pictures of myself as a kid, but now everybody's got 50 million selfies. Your whole childhood is there. So
Did your
it's like
parents have
even though time
licenses?
passes, you remember everything better. Like I think back to in 1970, I guess that was my first girlfriend. I would swing on the swing sets with this girl named Virginia, and I think she had red hair, and I can't remember beyond that what she looked like. But if I was a kid today, I'd have pictures on my phone, and it would just still be clear to me because your memories are sharper of the past, and it doesn't seem like that amount of time has passed. I think that's why the last few decades, although when you get older time passes quicker, but when everything's preserved like this, it does seem it's harder to for it to seem like a distant memory.
Here's a
um
perfect example of the weirdness of it all. This is these are real marijuana cigarettes that you could just go and buy at a store here. It's just like a pack of cigarettes, right? Fuji Apple Kush with hash, diamonds, indica, Stone Road, 100% natural cannabis pre-rolled cigarettes. and it's like a pack of smokes. This is what we dreamed of in 1983. Like we would joke when we
Well,
would be sitting around playing DV. In the future, I bet you that they're going to legalize it, and it'll be in a
yeah.
pack just like cigarettes. And we'd be like, "You're lying. It'll never happen."
Well, I never was really a smoker of that, but I never dreamed of it. But I
Not a
never
good
dreamed
story.
it would ever happen.
Yeah,
But
it's not a good
that's
thing. But yeah, so then now they come inside of here and they're in here and you pull them out and that's it,
that's that's insane.
isn't
Because
it?
it was something that was talked about. It was so bad, when you were a kid,
Yeah,
and
no.
it's
All
just
you have to do is show your ID when you walk in the building.
oh. But you
That's
don't
it.
have to do that to vote.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that to vote. You're right.
Well,
But yeah, it's like a boutique. It looks like IKEA, but all they sell is weed products.
but that's California. I don't know that
Yeah,
those.
that's how it is in California.
I don't
It's
think
that
they
way
were
in a lot of
selling
other
that
states.
brand at the store I just went to get my cheeseburger. I don't think that was for sale there. Um, well, I don't know, man. That is wild. But that is shows how things change, I guess.
It is pretty crazy, and nobody really cares. It's like everybody's over it. Maybe it was a big deal like 10 years ago when it first started. I don't know how long it's been going on, but
It has.
nobody
Uh,
cares.
yeah, you're right. It has. The people that cared were the World War II generation. I think they were the ones that didn't want their kids doing that, and they're pretty much gone. I just was, today's Pearl Harbor Day. They said there's only two survivors of Pearl Harbor around still.
Wow,
So
really?
yeah, I was saying earlier I was behind a car coming home from work. I guess it's been well over 15 years ago, and it had a Pearl Harbor sticker on the back. It's like, wow, there's a guy that was there in front of me, but yeah, I'm sure he's gone by now. Um, well, Edgar Rice Burroughs was there that day. I think he was there. I thought he was there with his son. That wouldn't have been the son that you talked to, would it be?
Well, it would have been his father because Danton, who
Oh, he was the grandson.
yeah, he was
Right.
the grandson of
Yeah,
Edgar Rice.
yeah. Okay.
And at the time, he Burroughs had a big estate in Hawaii, so
Yeah.
they were living in Hawaii when Pearl Harbor happened. He had a they had moved from Tarzana to Hawaii for health reasons because of Edgar Rice Burroughs' wife, who wanted to live in Hawaii.
Oh, what was her condition? Or was it more a mental
Alcoholism,
thing? Oh, that,
depression, and alcoholism. To be honest, I think,
oh,
and
depression.
sadly, yeah, sadly,
Yeah.
it was depression
Yeah.
and alcoholism.
Yeah. Wow.
And too much money, probably a huge amount of money, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much money he made in today's money. What's weird is he had what, several different movie studios making Tarzan movies at the same time? How did that exactly work? No one had exclusive rights to it? Uh, because, yeah, that was weird.
I wish Danton was here to tell us because he would, if he was alive, he would come on your show. I'm serious. If I told him about, like I told you when I first met you, when I first learned about you teaching those kids about a princess of Mars, and I saw those drawings that they did, I was like, oh man, if Danton knew this was happening, he would have gone crazy. He would love to talk to you about all this stuff. He would have answered your questions for as long
Yeah.
as you want.
Yeah. Is there any surviving family now?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I think that he had a daughter, I think. I want to say that Danton had a daughter from his wife that I think that he was divorced from, I think. Um, or separated, I don't know. But then there's other kids too. The family spreads out. It's not just he's not the only surviving grand he wasn't the only surviving grandchild.
But as far as someone that survives and is kind of the spokesperson for everything, and
I don't know who took his place. I don't know if it was a family member that took his place, but up until he passed away, which was I think about 2012 is when he passed away, or maybe
uh,
2009. I can't remember. Right around there. Um, he was in charge. He had been in charge for decades, since like the 60s or early 70s. He had been in charge of the whole estate, like from a young age. He had been put in because he was the person who was most interested in it. He was completely enveloped in all of it. You know, he was
yeah,
uh, like us. He was a
the,
collector. He had saved everything. The house was filled with all kinds of amazing stuff, like all kinds of original like artwork and sculpture work. And his dad, Edgar Rice Burroughs' son, was an illustrator, and he had like done some. He had
yeah,
illustrated and done drawings of of everything. The family was
sure.
really into it, but I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah. The girls that run the Frazetta estate, they're granddaughters, I guess, or are
Yeah,
they
I think so.
daughters?
They're two granddaughters.
They're probably too young to be daughters. Yeah, yeah. They call themselves the Frazetta girls. Um. So what are you? What was what's the package you were trying to hope? It didn't come. Is that correct? It's not there
Not
today.
yet. I haven't gone back and checked in about an hour, but it's two masks and two comic books. Two masks and two comic
Oh,
books.
okay. Um. Yeah. I. Did you see the unboxing earlier? I don't know if you saw that video.
No, I didn't see it. No.
Yeah, he sent me a surprise. He sent me one of the Famous Monsters magazines he got.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know, and he sent me a bunch. He sent me 10 of these Gotham City stickers.
Oh, nice for your boxes.
Yeah, he was asking. I remember now. He was asking, "How many do you need?" And it's like, I don't want to ask you for more. And sent me the sticker of the Sea Monkey family.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Oh boy. So this Creature Commandos cartoon. Do you have Max?
No, I don't have Max, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. The music was a little annoying, but I apparently people like that band called
Yeah, I don't recognize
Gogol
the name.
Bordello. Or do you know that
Yeah,
band?
I heard you talking about it earlier. I don't recognize the name.
Uh, it's not something I'd want to listen to, but it's all okay. It was pretty good.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, yeah.
what could I do to this? I wonder. Maybe I could paint her face up. This was a thrift store purchase because I thought I could. I had masks on it. Do I have any other? I had the
Too
Trump.
small?
Oh, I put the eyeballs in the Trump mask I got, like you suggested. That you can see me do that on that video I shot this morning.
Oh, I didn't see it yet.
Yeah,
So is that head too small to hold a mask? It looks pretty small.
it's it's too small, but the mask is too small to put on my head. It's really a child's mask, so I wound up putting I took two grocery store bags and put them over a wig head. Like is it okay to, as long as it doesn't touch the styrofoam, or are there vapors coming out of the styrofoam?
I don't know. I think it's okay as long as the styrofoam's not touching.
So I was trying to get the eyeballs positioned, so I'm up taping the eyeballs over the grocery store sack, and then I put the mask onto him and onto the wig head. So should I? Can you see him? I don't know what the camera's showing.
Yeah, it's showing right now. It looks good. I mean, it looks great. I think it looks fine.
Yeah. You put your eyeballs on what mask?
Right now, they're in that Wolfman mask I have,
Oh, okay.
the Zagoni Studios werewolf mask.
No, that's a great idea. I want. Where can you get more eyeballs? I wonder. I guess every Halloween they're available.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, excuse me.
anyway, I guess I don't have that much more excitement for this live stream, so I may
I don't either. I don't
mosey on out.
either. I'm gonna eat
Yeah,
lunch and
yeah.
maybe
I
go
may
watch
do
some
another
TV.
live stream later, possibly with my wife involved or something. And she should be waking up about this time. Right now, it's getting close to 3 o'clock here. But I'll see everybody soon. Take care, everybody.
Take care, Doc.
Goodbye.